see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me a
モニカ・エヴァ
legacy, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see.
危険人が一人沈黙の魔女
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Gummy bears are chasing me. One is red, one is blue, one is trying to steal my shoe. Now I'm running for my life, cause the red one has a nut!
Про себя и про его. Ох уж и сама не знаю, сердце бьется от чего.
Thank you.